All right, y'all. So this prison story is about the time when Freaky Freddy came into my cell and told me this really weird, creepy story. I'm sitting on my bed and I get a knock at the door. So I'm like, what's up? So Freaky Freddy, he put his head in. I said, what's up? He like, hey, Donta, I need to talk to you for a minute. I said, what is it? So he stepped in his cell and I got up. I said, what you doing? He was like, you said I could come in. I said, you can't come in, man. Bag up, man. So he said, oh, my bad. I said, man, what's up? Now, for those that don't know who Freaky Freddy is, let me tell y'all how he programmed, okay? Let me get y'all up to speed for the people that don't know who Freaky Frederick is, right? So how Freaky Freddy programmed, he wasn't a booty bandit. He was a guy that was in his late 50s, early 60s. And how he programmed is basically he ran a store. And what he would do is he would prey on inmates that didn't have anything. So let's say you a new inmate and you ain't got no help from the streets, meaning your family, your friends, your girlfriend, nobody's sending you money, right? Now, true enough, you know, the state will provide 3 meals a day, but they only give you enough food for you to make it through the day. But you ain't getting food, you're not getting filled off them foods that they provide. So what Freaky Freddy would do, he'd see a guy that'd come in there, particularly a young guy, but he didn't discriminate on age, race, or color at all. So he'd see a guy come in there and he'd just watch him. He'd observe him like a predator does. And when he noticed that, like, okay, this dude ain't getting no money in here, and I know this dude is going hungry, let me just go to him and tell him, like, hey, listen, I run the store. You can get you a couple items out of here. You know, you can get you about 2 bags of Doritos or Cheetos, a couple honey buns, and get you a couple Pepsis or Mountain Dews. Just get me back on store day. Now, he already know that these guys can't pay him back. So he tell him, like, okay, we good, right? So they'll take the items or whatever. The day before store, when he know that they ain't got it, he'd come up to the person and be like, yo, listen, make sure you have that, because if you don't have it, we're gonna have an issue. But if you don't want to have an issue, you know, we could come in the cell and, you know, I put the white sheet up and you can break me off a little something. That's how Freaky Freddy programmed. Now, it could go one or two ways or a couple ways. And most of the times, dude just went in the cell with Freaky Freddy and they did what they did. But then there was times where dudes a buck on Freaky Freddy, and Freaky Freddy, he really wasn't a violent dude. He was playing what I call military mind games. What Freaky Freddy would do is act like he gonna, you know, pull out something and do something to you. You know what I mean? He would act like, you know, he'll put subtle threats out there like, yo, if you don't give me them items, or you don't give me these sexual favors that I want, that, you know, I'm gonna hit you with this blade, or I'm gonna have somebody else do that to you, right? So he had all different tactics, but Freaky Freddy, he was harmless as a fly. He wasn't gonna bust a grape. He wasn't gonna do none of that, right? But, you know, he's an old school convict and he knew how to play them type of penitentiary games. So 9 times out of 10, most of these guys would just go in the cell with him and do what they do. Now, the thing about it, so let's get to the story, because I know y'all ready for the story. So anyway, I'm like, what's up, man? He like, man, hey, Donta, I really need to talk to you about something. I'm like, what's up? He was like, look, you know, I heard when you was talking about God and stuff the other day, and I got this story that I want to tell you. I'm like, what is it? He like, no, but I just don't want everybody to hear it because I don't want nobody looking at me strange. Now, I'm thinking in my head like, dude, what you mean you don't want nobody looking at you strange? You one of the most strangest dudes up in here. It ain't nothing that can come out your mouth that will make you look strange than you already look. This one I'm thinking in my head. So I'm like, what is this regarding, man? Because if you want to talk about some homo type stuff, he like, no, nothing like that, bro. Nothing like that. I just, you know, I heard you talking about God, and I'm just trying to see, that if there's any type of, like, I just gotta tell you the story. So I'm like, all right, hold on, give me a minute. So I walked out the stair. I said, hold on, let me go grab one of my homeboys, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. So in prison, right, it's one of these things that you call birds of a feather flock together. Meaning, if Freaky Freddy walked into my cell, right, and we in there talking, and everybody already know Donta don't play military mind games like that, right? I don't rock and roll that way. I only rock one way, and that's straight. However, dudes like to spread rumors. Dudes like to gossip. Oh, hey, Freaky Freddy was in Donta's cell. I don't know what they was talking about, but they was in there for a long time, right? So to clear all that up, I went to go get one of my homeboys, right? So he can be a witness to make sure, just in case somebody try to put dirt on my name or something, right? So I got one of my homeboys, and I had him to stand outside of the cell. So Freaky Freddy came in. My homeboy was right there at the cell, right? So I'm like, okay, what's up? So he like, all right, listen, back before I got locked up, my dad was like a priest or whatever. And I said, all right. And he was like, well, we grew up Catholic or whatever. I said, okay. And he was like, well, it was like my dad, I don't know, was like he like a exorcist or something like that or whatever. But, I think his work followed him home sometimes. And I'm like, now when he said that, like my whole demeanor changed, because I'm thinking like, okay, what is this dude about to tell me, y'all? Because, where Freaky Freddy history, it don't never be nothing good. It be like some sexual deviant type stuff. So I'm like, all right. So he said, like, man, like when I was 11 years old, I didn't know what, sex was or whatever. And he said that, one day his dad came home and his dad was just like really stressed out or whatever. And he said for some strange reason, he something told him to like put in this VCR tape or whatever that was in the living room that his dad brought to the house. So he said he put the tape in and he pressed play, and sure enough, there was some things going on that tape. Now, what was going on that tape was, I'm just going to say, because YouTube is now being real sensitive about certain words, but I'm just going to say PORN, right? It was one of them type of tapes back then, right? The soft type. And he said he got to watching and he was real intrigued because he'd never seen that. He didn't know what that was, right? But then he said, he just kept watching and watching and got real infatuated with it. So he said as time went on, he became an addict, a PORN addict or whatever. And he said as he got older, they had to go to confession, whatever. But he really never wanted to go to confession because his dad is the priest or whatever. So he said he was real embarrassed about it. So he said one time he was like, he knew what he was doing was wrong eventually or whatever. And this is the whole part of this story that I'm telling y'all of why he is talking to me about this. Because he heard me basically telling the story about when Jesus, when he delivered the guy that was possessed when he got off the boat or whatever. But he was telling me this, he heard me tell somebody this story before. And he said one day, right, he said he was watching one of them bad movies or whatever. And he said when he went to sleep, something like violated him in his dream or whatever. And he said like when he woke up from the dream, well, let me tell y'all what happened in the dream without being so descriptive. He said in the dream, it started off with him like messing around with a woman. And then somehow like the woman got real aggressive with him and ended up throwing him on his stomach and ended up violating him. And he said he felt like it was real in the dream. And he said he woke up. But when he woke up, his ass was sore, basically. Like he'd been penetrated or whatever. So I'm sitting there like, okay. So he was like, yeah, that was weird, man. And it's like every time I would watch the video or whatever, I would have these same reoccurring dreams. And it'd just happen different ways. Like I was being real violated in the, in the dream, and I wake up sore at certain places. So I said, well, if that's true, why would you keep watching it? I mean, what you do is what you do. Your orientation is what it is. But I mean, did you like it? Like for you to keep watching the video, knowing these things will happen? And he was like, no, it wasn't that. It was like I was addicted to it. Like, and I just couldn't stop. So he was like, so what is that? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, now, for those that don't know me, which a lot of y'all don't, but a lot of y'all do, y'all know I'm really well versed in the scriptures, right? So I got to thinking about these classification of these demons or whatever. And you got the succubus and the incubus, right? The succubus is the female version of a sex demon, and a incubus is the male version. And I said, well, what it seems like to me is that, at a young age, you was introduced to this filth, because that's what it is. It's filth. And I said that it corrupted you, and you opened up a portal by watching these videos or whatever. And it seems like when you open up that portal, it got at you in a dream. And the violation, I believe, really was taking place in real life in a supernatural world that manifested itself in the physical world. So he was like, so you think I'm possessed? I said, look, man, on the real, you know what you're doing in here is wrong, right? He said, man, listen, Donta, I didn't come in here to talk to you about what I'm doing. I just had some questions. I said, no, but what I'm saying is what you're doing is wrong, though. Like, it ain't, I said, what you doing is a sexual perversion, right? That's not right. That's spiritually, physically, mentally, all that's wrong. You can't do one and say, well, maybe, nah, all of it's wrong. What you're doing is sexual perversion. And I said, from that time when you was 11 years old to whenever you got locked up or whatever, you've been dibbling dabbling in a lot of things. So I asked him, I said, let me ask you a question. Was you, one of them that you are when you was out in the free world? He was like, no. I said, so what made you, be like this in here? And he was like, man, to be honest, I don't know. I just felt like, shoot, I got 20 years and I just kept getting more time and more time. So I just said, man, forget it. I ain't going to be with no woman. I ain't even tripping about no woman. So I'm just going to do everything and get and live a certain way that I want to live up in here. Heck, I was living way better than here than out there. I ain't got to worry about no bills, no phone bills, no rent, no mortgage, no none of that. I live good up in here. And, and then he said some other things that I dare not to repeat on this video. But I said, yeah, man, I believe that was a succubus or an incubus that, you opened up that door and, they just violated you. And I said, and on the real, I honestly believe the way that you are now is because of that situation, that you never got healed. You never got them demons exercised out of you. So I believe that, even though you wasn't like that out there, it manifested itself up in here, right? So he sat there for a minute. He was like, yeah, you right, but I ain't gonna stop doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna still do me. Then he got up and left out, right? Yo, I want to give a quick pause right quick. There was a guy not too long ago that reached out to me, right? And remember, y'all, if y'all have a story that y'all want to tell, just get in contact with me. Y'all know my number. For the people that don't see it on the screen, it's 810-627-0895, right? If you got a story that you want to share with me and tell the world and you ain't got a voice, just get in contact with me. But this guy called me the other day. And the reason why I'm telling y'all this story, because this is a shockingly eerie story that he told me that was going on with Freaky Freddy, right? He said, yo, Donta, I ain't gonna lie. I didn't know that PORN was evil. I thought like all men watched it, and, you know, I'm not sinning against nobody. So, you know, I'm not hurting nobody when I watch it. So, you know, why do I feel dirty and bad? I said, think about this. The scripture says that if a man even look at a woman with lust in his heart, that he already committed adultery, right? Fornication. That means if you even look at a woman and you got them lustful thoughts that you want to do something to her in a sexual manner, it's like you did it in the physical, right? So the thing is, what y'all don't realize is that when you look at PORN or whatever, you are committing a sin against yourself, right? And then what the great master told us, right? He told it if you even look at a woman. So when you look at that situation, now you got to weigh this in on the physical part of this whole thing. Y'all do know a lot of them women that be in them videos are trafficked. Did y'all know that? A lot of them women that be doing them videos, they be doing that against their will. I don't know if y'all knew that. But then there's something else. There was this guy that called me about a couple months ago, and he out there in Cali. I'm not going to shout out his podcast because I don't want people going over there and getting the wrong idea and, you know, involving themselves with certain things. But I'm going to say this. He interviewed a lot of, you know, corn stars, right? And watching the interviews, I noticed something. A lot of these women that do that, it's like they lost. It's like they you can tell they deal with a lot of trauma that led them to do this. Like their self-esteem is so low, and like they've been beat down physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? And I feel bad for them. Like interview after interview, I'm like, yo, these women need to be healed. And it's like, the more that people look at their videos, these people get more soulless and soulless. Let me ask y'all a question right quick, just for the audience. See, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. I mean, just now at the age of 36, Donta might, you know, drink a little bit of Stella Rose Black. But y'all know that's only 5% alcohol. But that's what I like to do when I'm trying to unwind and just chill. And I barely even drink that. The last time I had some was, on New Year's. The first time I had some was, Christmas morning at a breakfast. Then the next time I had some was at a New Year's party. But I haven't had none since. I don't even think we even got none here at the house. But my point is to say that we all got vices. We all deal with something, right? I ain't gonna say I'm perfect because I know damn well I'm not. But we all have our vices. And one thing that I know for sure, don't ever be a slave to something that's controlling you. Because one thing I know for sure, like for sure, I know God exists. I know that angels exist. I know demons exist. I know there's good humans and bad humans. And just because you bad today, just because you wicked today, that don't mean you got to be wicked tomorrow. You can be righteous. And just because you righteous today, you can become wicked tomorrow. So understand, just because you are what you are today in a negative way, you ain't always got to be messed up. All right, y'all, it's the fall season. Make sure y'all cop y'all military mind game merchandise. I got hoodies for you. I got shirts for you.
I even got coffee mugs for you. Y'all see that hat? Y'all see that pillow? Make sure y'all cop y'all Military Mind Game merchandise. I have the link pinned at the top of the comment section.
Hey, yes you. Are you a member of the Donta Show Network? If not, I got you. I will have the link to my members only videos pinned at the top of the comment section. You'll get access to my exclusive videos, which is my skits and my movies. Also, when you become a member, I'll give you a special shout out on the 15th of every month. Again, the link to the members only videos will be pinned at the top of the comment section. I drop a brand new video every day at 5 p.m. Standard Eastern Time. If you want me to promote your business, your social media channel, your products, your storefront, if you got a song, if you got a book, get in contact with me at 313-452-8981. That's 313-452-8981. Or email me at thedontashow88@yahoo.com.